Hi, stay right there. My today's guest is a very special one. Anybody who like cakes, please stay here because we are about to discover what kind of cake there can be. She has amazing story to tell. She cannot eat certain kind of cake, and she tried and she created her own business. And we are going to talk about that. Please help me welcome founder and CEO of Bunnie Cakes, award-winning vegan bakery owner, Mariana Cortez. Welcome, Mariana.
Hi, how are you? It's a pleasure to being here with you, sharing my story. Thank you for inviting me.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who are you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
All right, well, I am a mother of 5 kids, and I think my source of inspiration comes mostly from my kids. And like you say, my name is Mariana Cortez. I'm located in Miami, Florida, and I am the founder and CEO of Bunnie Cakes, which is the first vegan bakery in South Florida, and mostly inspired by my older kid allergies and the lack of options that we had in the market um, 12 years ago when I founded Bunnie Cakes.
Wonderful. Mariana, I forget to check. We can adjust our camera a little bit, so we are in the middle of the frame, and
You want me
so
to?
we can do that. Yeah, you can just adjust a little bit, so we are in the middle of the.
There?
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, amazing. That was smart. So my next, let's move on to my next question. What are three mistakes to avoid when, because you are the owner of the bakery and you have employees? Uh,
Yes.
so, what are the three mistakes to avoid in the employee engagement, having effective teams around you?
Well, one of the first mistakes you need to avoid is just try to do it all. Because as a woman entrepreneur, you mostly want to, take into your plate everything that you can. So, but I think it's a huge mistake. I think you always have your highs and lows, and you need to really understand who you are and what are your strengths. And whatever is not your strength, ask for help. It is very important for you to understand who you are as a person, and and it is extremely important to ask for help. That's why from day zero, I think that it was key for me to have, my group of people that I can provide information, and we can share information, and we can just understand, or I can understand what I didn't have that strength, let's say. So, mistake number one, try to do it all. It's not it's impossible, and that's not I do not advise that. Plus, it is very time consuming, and you need to, like I say, understand what are your strengths to build your team. Another mistake is just wasting money into platforms or apps that really they present you for an opportunity for your business. But before that, I think that you need to have a very clear path before spending money in things that they're not necessarily at your advantage at that precise moment. For example, when I was starting, I wanted to implement a lot of automatization in my business, and we really didn't have the order into the production department to install all these apps. So while I was spending money and investing money into these apps, which they might be good, but you don't have the necessary order to use them. It proved me that we waste a lot of money to try to improve your business. But the key is to have a clear path, have a very 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 organized structure from the beginning, and from there choose what you need to invest on. Early investments into things that you're not prepared for, it's a huge mistake. Third mistake is, we as a family business, we have brought family members into the business and to the team, and it's like very delicate and very important to separate what is business to what is your family relationship. So at the beginning of Bunnie Cakes also, that created a challenge for me, because of course we wanted to be supported by our family, but we also need to understand that business is business, and not necessarily the boundaries when you are working with a family member are the limit are clear. So if that's your case, that it was mine when I was starting, I think you need to be extremely clear of what are the responsibilities and what are you expecting from each people, even though is your family, your husband, your aunt, or your sister. I think is extremely important, so you don't create friction in the business or in the family.
That move to next question. What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
I have a lot of failure stories, a lot, but I remember the first failure story was at the beginning of Bunnie Cakes. We started the bakery as a wholesale bakery, and we were distributing our mini cupcakes, because that's what Bunnie Cakes is mostly known for, the little mini vegan cupcakes, to different restaurants and cafes around Miami, Broward, and West Palm, which are the counties that are in South Florida. So one of my main, and I will say failure, is I tried to get the financing I needed to open my first retail store. And I went to different banks and to different foundations to present my business plan. And since it was very risky, and we're talking about 2012, where the vegan market wasn't very well known, especially in Miami, where there is a lot of Latin population, and it wasn't very well known within the Latin community. I received a lot of rejection into what I was expecting, what my business was about, and the type of market that I was going into. Even though that I received a lot of rejection, I continued with my plan, and I had to modify several things, but eventually everything turned out fine. I received the founding part from my family, part from a nonprofit foundation here in Miami that finally heard me. I think that, every single person that I went through, every single bank that I went through, every single investor that I went through that told me, no, it's not a good idea. I think that got me the incentive to continue working and improving into what the plan and the structure of the business plan was about, to open my retail store. The retail store was open in 2013, and it was a complete success. So I proved my point. So it was a story of failure, but at the end, took me a while. It took me a couple of months, a few months, to finally get the money and the investment that I needed. But it with the modifications I did and just hearing and getting help from the people that I needed the most, we finally got it.
What are your top three success secrets that others can follow?
Well, this is always that I think it sounds very cliche, but I think that I am very guided by my intuition and my heart. I believe into whatever I love and enjoy doing. It's part of my success. My second part of success is just I pay a lot of attention to detail. It's extremely important for me to have my product into something beautiful that people can enjoy visually and enjoy tastefully. And my third part of success is my story. I think my resilient to just continue, even though the difficulties of the business prove that it was very challenging for me and my family. I think people get connected to the story of just me and my team going through that, modifying what we needed to modify, and continue just growing the business into what it is right now.
Wonderful. What is the most impactful business book you have read, and what did you learn from it?
Well, recently I loved this book. It's called Untamed from Glennon Doyle. And I think that one of the main messages of the book, and this is what I was talking earlier, is just to follow your calling, follow your heart, feel it all, and just go with it. Of course, with your structure, with your order, with your plan, with the help you're gonna need, but just follow your calling and follow your heart. It is extremely, extremely important to understand who you are, what you enjoy the most, and how do you see yourself into developing whatever your business idea is. So I highly recommend this book. I think it's not only for business advice but personal advice. And as a woman, I think she is amazing. And I'm extremely inspired by her story too. So that's one of my favorite books right now.
Wonderful. Mariana, we are entering into a speed round. That means short questions and quick answers. Are you ready for it?
Yes, let's go.
What do you want to be remembered for?
My strength and my love for what I do.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Just following my heart and what my heart is telling me and my inspiration, and just continue believing in myself.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to be a very successful business CEO and entrepreneur, and have the stability to give my family what they need.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
Just talking to them and be honest and just truthful to your idea, and just expressing exactly with honesty everything that you believe in, and even your doubts. I think that being honest and being transparent, it's the most powerful thing you can do to convince others.
What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my team. And I'm grateful, of course, for my family and my children that are, my source of inspiration and strength, and I just live for them.
Who is your living mentor and what is the impact they have on you?
I will say my living mentor right now is just myself and believing in myself. And what is the impact on me? I wake up every day and I just say to myself, I can do this. I am strong enough. I can create my own reality, and this is where I am.
Why is being impactful important to you?
Because I think that impactful for me is just inspire other people to believe in themselves and create just something that we other people can relate to. So that's the impact that I want to do, not even with my company, but with myself and my personal image.
How do you start your day?
I usually wake up and I say different affirmations of what my day is going to be. I meditate and I also work out for an hour.
Who is your ideal client?
The one that believe in my values and my product.
What is the advice you would give to your younger yourself?
To trust, to not get anxious into the difficulties of life, and to understand that everything is a learning process and everything takes time.
How can we support you?
You can support me by following me. You can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Miss Bunnie Cakes. That is MSBUNNIE Cakes, CAKES. And you can go to my website. You can order online, local and delivery and pickup, or you can order national shipping also through the United States. Everything through my website, bunniecakes.com. You can also follow me on TikTok. The TikTok is MS, same as the Instagram, Miss Bunnie Cakes. And remember that Bunnie is BUNNIE, cakes with an S at the end.
What would you say about your guest experience on the show today?
Well, I love to do this. I love to share my story. I love to share my ideas. I love to share my feelings. So thank you for inviting me and thank you for having me on your show.
What would you say as a final word?
I want people that are starting any type of baking company or even in the food industry to understand that everything is changing, and that every single difficulty that you have, there are several ways that you can solve it. The help is out there. Do not give up. Always use your resilience and follow your heart. Like I say, it sounds cliche, but I think that is very, very important for you to understand who you are, to follow your inspiration, to follow what you believe in, get help for whatever you think you're going to need help and are not your strengths, and just continue. Being resilient is one of the main strengths that I have in my personality. So that's my advice to you.
Thank you, Mariana, for sharing your wisdom and for your time and wisdom. On the behalf of Entrepreneur Empowerment Club and our entire team, really appreciate you. I hope
Thank
our
you.
path cross again, and maybe I visit when everything is good. I visit your town, and we can share your vegan bakery with the.
Please
We
do.
can taste it at least. And I look forward to another opportunity in to support you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll wait for your visit. We're located in downtown Doral, here in the middle of Miami. So the store is beautiful. It's experience. It's very, very, very detail oriented and decorated. And like I said, it's a whole experience to go and visit Bunnie Cakes inside our retail store. So I will be very glad to have you here.
Thank you.